What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I am super excited to finally be doing one of my most highly anticipated showcase videos of 2016 to celebrate tonight's release of Suicide Squad. And for this massive showcase, we've got Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, Katana, the Joker, Flagg, El Diablo, and Killer Croc, all of which were fully painted and made in the span of just 1 month, similarly to what I did for Civil War earlier this year. So it definitely made for one hell of a challenge pulling this off right before the movie's release tonight. So yeah, but I do have to put a quick disclaimer here because I know I'll just get a ton of comments if I don't address this. Obviously there are missing characters: Slipknot, Amanda Waller, Enchantress, and while I have no plans on making Slipknot whatsoever, there is a good chance that I will do Amanda Waller and Enchantress in their own separate video following the movie's release sometime after. So no need to post hundreds of comments, guys, but yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so starting off with the Jared Leto Joker, of course. I'll just say one last time, guys, every minifigure in this showcase that you're about to see is fully 100% hand-painted, and the Joker was no exception. The Joker here was definitely challenging to paint all the tattoos and everything on, but the face, especially capturing Jared Leto's likeness, doing the makeup right. I mean, the little J tattoo next to his left eye, I mean, the star next to his right, that was really tedious, but most of all in the face, it definitely had to be the damage text. And I mean, for like a year I was just thinking to myself, how am I going to do that when the time comes for me to attempt it? And thankfully on the day that I did, I think it turned out looking really good, and I think I nailed it first try, so I'm really happy with the way the face turned out on the Joker. And then the hairpiece is a modified Widow's Peak hairpiece. I sanded off that Widow's Peak and painted the whole thing in the green color that you see. We're going to go ahead and remove the head, or the hair and the head right now, so that I can give you a look at the necklace. And while he's wearing the boxer outfit in the movie, he does have like 3 necklaces. If I wanted to make this 3-dimensional and not sabotage the tattoos I painted on the torso by painting 3 necklaces on, I figured I'd make one 3-dimensional necklace. I think it turned out looking really cool, made out of like a necklace that I got from Michael's, and then I chopped it up, you know, bent it over his shoulders, glued a string to the back of it, and I'm really happy with the way that turned out. So yeah, but then the coat is a modified Cape Madness trench coat, and I painted the entire pattern and everything you see on it, and I'm really happy with the way that turned out as well. Don't know how many times I'm going to say that in this showcase, but you'll notice that I did paint on the mouth onto his hand. That was a signature detail that I almost forgot, and then I painted it yesterday actually, so that looks really cool as well. We're gonna go ahead and remove the arms and everything right now, so you can see those tattoos and everything else that I did not want to paint 3 necklaces onto, and you can see all of it right there. Those tattoos, man, these tested my ability as a customizer. Like seriously, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to pull it off, and thankfully I did. I think the Joker text on like his abdomen here, that was really challenging, and then all the ha-ha-ha's, I mean, you know, the jester design, I mean, the muscle design that I painted on before I did any of these tattoos, all really challenging stuff. And then the legs, you'll notice, are really detailed as well, featuring all kinds of different metallic blue stripes, gold stripes, stars. I mean, you've got the bat symbols on his legs there that you can see even with the coat is on. You've got the mouth here. I mean, this figure turned out looking really cool, the laces and all, and I could not be happier with my portrayal of the Joker in his boxer outfit. So yeah, guys, I'm going to stall for the next couple of seconds while I put the minifigure back together, and as a matter of fact, you know what? No, I give up. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for my Jared Leto Joker. Absolutely cannot wait to see his portrayal of the character. It's been 8 years since Heath Ledger, and this is definitely one of the most exciting things we have to look forward to in Suicide Squad. Next up, his better half, Harley Quinn. This figure, man, holy crap, there's so much going on here. I mean, the fully painted face, one of my best faces I think I've painted in 2016, and then all the text, the tattoos, the fishnetting, I mean, everything. This figure, I guess we'll start off with the face again, and you can see on the side of it I do have the text Rotten painted on there as well, as accurate to her tattoos in the movie. And then also the hairpiece is a zombie cheerleader hairpiece fully painted by me, along with the modified Cape Madness jacket, which is painted in metallic blue and red with property of the Joker painted onto the back, and that was really challenging. She's got the dotted belt going all the way around, and then you'll notice her bat as well has some kind of like more so like squiggly lines, because there's a limit to what you can paint and what you can paint onto a Lego minifigure. So while that is writing, I decided to just make it look the way you see it here, and then Goodnight painted from the top to bottom, diamonds around like, you know, toward the handle there, Daddy's little monster like painted onto her shirt there, along with various different tears and wrinkles and other things. The Lucky You tattoo with the dolphin next to that painted on. Like I said, guys, these figures really challenged me with my painting skills as a customizer. And then you'll notice the fish netting is painted all around all 4 sides of the minifigure. Some of the most time-consuming coloring shit I've ever done for this showcase, I think. And then also you'll notice that it's really hard to tell, but the tattoos that were underneath her fishnet, like her fishnet leggings in the movie, are underneath it on this figure as well. I've got pudding, I've got diamonds, I've got hearts, and a ton of other tattoos that were painted on before I ever did the fishnetting. But yeah, this figure was really fun to make, and I honestly could not be happier with the end result. And yeah, cannot wait to see Margot Robbie's portrayal and performance of her in the movie. Okay, now we've got Floyd Lawton, Deadshot, played by Will Smith. This figure has a lot of 3D elements, especially on his arms. And we'll start off with the sculpted mask. The Deadshot mask was sculpted on top of a Lego City motorcycle helmet, and then I pretty much just sanded the crap out of it and then smoothed it over, and then I used metallic white instead of standard white to paint the whole thing in its base color, because white paint just really sucks and it's really gloppy and annoying to work with. And then I actually had to paint in the eye that you see here after I sculpted the mask on top of the helmet, so that was definitely tedious. And then of course making the eyepiece and painting in all the different blues and reds and pink colors that you see there to make it look the way it does. And I'm really happy with the way Deadshot's mask turned out. I didn't know if it was going to work out or if I was just going to have to paint it onto a standard white head, but I'm really glad that this turned out for the better, and it's really awesome, man. So yeah, Deadshot's mask, I just dropped it on the floor, but we're going to move on with Deadshot's head. I did make an alternate head for him, the Will Smith head, and it turned out looking really cool. This also has a lot of 3D elements, 3D straps running around the entirety of it, along with the 3D eyepiece and the face, of course, all fully painted. So we'll go ahead and leave this on now that I've dropped the Deadshot mask on the floor, and you'll notice the 3D shoulders. He's got the 3D like gauntlets, which are actually, you know, like his wrist guns, and then I painted the entire torso. He's got magazines and straps running all over his legs. I mean, the knee pads, it's all there. The assault rifle is fully painted from Brick Forge, and then I could not fit the "I am the light, the way" text on his gun, so I kind of painted on "I am Deadshot" because close enough, right? Yeah, and then also the back fully painted, you know, the whole deal. It's pretty self-explanatory outside the gun, the mask, and all the different 3D elements. But yeah, really happy with the way Deadshot turned out. He's definitely one of the best minifigures in this showcase, and I could not be happier. I think I already said that, but yeah, let's move on. For our fourth figure in the showcase, we've got Captain Boomerang, and I guess we'll go ahead and start off with the face. You'll notice the face is painted fully to look like Jai Courtney, facial expression and all, based off of the DC Collectible statue. He's got the fake tooth painted in there as well, along with individual little like hair marks to give his beard depth, and then like some darkness under his eyes. And then the hairpiece I decided to go with instead of a beanie, because in the movie it looks like he's really gonna be, he doesn't look like he's gonna be wearing that beanie quite a bit, and so I decided that I would just go with a messy looking hairpiece, and that came in the form of the Superman hairpiece. But I sanded the sides a little bit, I trimmed up the front, and I decided that this honestly would be the best bet for the minifigure, and this is what I wanted to do anyway. I mean, even the freaking Funko figure doesn't have the beanie. So yeah, you'll notice the coat is also another modified Cape Madness trench coat, just like the Joker, and but this time though the flaps on the front are folded much differently, and they do have like a weathered effect running throughout all the different light gray parts that you see within it. I've got the text Captain painted onto his you know, his shirt or his, you know, his jacket or whatever beneath his main trench coat there, and that has the zipper running through the letter T. So that was pretty tedious to do, along with the stripes that are on it on the bottom there, and then also on the top of the torso that you can see here and here. And then the arm is painted as well with it has a bunch of different boomerangs here, the like little like brown gauntlet that he has on his wrist, and then he also has a little bit of detail painted onto his glove here that I put on there as well, and then some basic detail on the back of the coat. And then you'll notice that the silver marks that I have on the figure are actually meant to represent the duct tape that he has on his suit, and that's here, and then on his leg here, wrapping around his entire boot, and then a little bit on the top of his right boot here. So yeah, and then finally to cap off Captain Boomerang, we've got the Boomerang, and the Boomerang is actually a heavily painted and sanded Boomerang from Lightning Bricks Customs on Instagram. Malcolm Hoffman, really cool dude. Link to his Instagram profile will be down in the description below, but he gave that to a friend of mine to give to me at Brick Fair last year, and I knew it would definitely be the perfect choice for when the time would eventually come to make Captain Boomerang. So really excited to see him in the movie as well, and I'm really proud of the way this figure turned out. And El Diablo. While this figure may look simplistic compared to the others, I guarantee you, painting the head and all the tattoos, I mean the tattoos on his neck, the individual stripes that all have 4 different individual colors running through them, and the designs on the back made this figure just as tedious as the rest. And you'll notice that, again, everything being painted, I've got everything on the face. You've got the little tally marks above his right eye, the little Reaper symbol. Right above that, you've got his name, Diablo, painted to the best of my ability, a little name tag on his jacket there. I decided not to make a 3D jacket for El Diablo because it's very tightly wrapped around his body in the movie and doesn't really warrant there to be one. He's got a little cross that I painted on here, chained onto the side of his leg, and then he also has the, I honestly don't know what this says. I mean, it kind of looks like an H513 or maybe like HS13. Regardless, I painted, the design on the back of his head as accurately as possible, along with the design on the back of his jacket, and I did decide to use a Lego skull head that I painted on there instead of like a human one, because obviously, it makes sense. And then that's got the Hillsiders painted there, you got the like fire symbols painted next to the next to the skull that has the hat on. I mean, you have East Los Angeles beneath that. Very, very tedious design for me to paint. Took me an entire day. And then you've got the little designs on the side, the little tattoos on the sides of his hands as well. And this figure overall turned out really cool. The wrinkles in the jacket. I mean, the Death Star Trooper leg design, kind of inspired by like right here that I used on his legs. And then I also have like some very basic shoes painted on there as well. Just basic white with some gray depth in the front there. So I mean, yeah, basic fire pieces for accessories. I'm really happy with the way this figure turned out. And as far as I'm aware, he gets his powers from a demon. So I'm gonna go repent. Next up, we've got Killer Croc, and while the clothing on him may have been relatively simple to make, definitely the head, the hands, the designs on the front and back of his jacket made this one just as hard as the rest and difficult to make, but definitely satisfactory with the end result here. And so, I'll start off with the head. The head, the face design itself, the eyes, the mouth, are actually inspired by the Inquisitor minifigure from Star Wars Rebels, especially the mouth. And then the scales, yeah, every single one of those individually painted, all the tan scales, the gray scales, the little dots, all fully painted, wrapping around the entirety of the head. They even go inside the head a little bit, and it was, yeah, basically I should just say the head and the hands took up an entire day. It was some of the most time-consuming stuff to do with this showcase. I just had to dedicate an entire day to just that stuff alone. But yeah, originally I was going to outline every individual scale, but I decided that if I painted the whole head in black first and then painted the scales on themselves, the other lines in between each scale would already be there, and it was much more efficient tactic, in terms of going about making Killer Croc here. So yeah, and as I mentioned before, he's got the jacket on, a modified Cape Madness jacket that I painted myself with the designs on the front and on the back as accurate to his appearance in the movie, and you've even got the actual like crocodile painted in the middle of that design, which turned out looking really, really cool. Decided not to go with any leg extensions for Croc because I didn't think they were necessary. I mean, Ultron is like 8 feet tall, and I'd do it for him. Groot is super tall. I'd do it for him. The Arbiter in Halo, he's 7.5 feet tall, but Croc is really not that much taller than Deadshot. Maybe only if like 3 or 4 inches. It's really nothing substantial, not enough for me to, warrant chopping off his feet and then extending them by a little bit. I just didn't think the minifigure needed it, and I think he's really great just as he is. I also decided not to do the hood because why do a hood when I can do an entire head with super trippy looking scales that go around the entire thing? I think this was the much cooler idea to go with, and he turned out looking great, and I can't wait to see Adewale, I can't pronounce the rest of his names, performance in Suicide Squad. It's gonna be pretty awesome, man. Our second to last minifigure, the leader of Task Force X, Rick Flagg. This figure I made in a day. I made most of it in a day, and it was definitely pretty insane to do. But this figure pretty much is just a lot of tiny tactical accessories. I'm not going to pretend like I remember the names of those tiny tactical accessories, but he's got a tiny tactical vest, and then I glued on one of their knife holsters, 3 of their magazines, and then I painted the whole thing. And you'll notice I also did paint on the little American flag here, and then on the back I do have another tiny tactical accessory in the form of a walkie-talkie, and then of course all the paint details. He's got a pair of tiny tactical glove tops, minimal detail on his arms because they're very simplistic in the movie anyway. He's got like the baggy pants design that I put on any minifigure that has like pretty much nothing going on their pants aside from just like wrinkles and other things. So yeah, then the assault rifle from Tiny Tactical is actually made up of about 7 different tiny tactical pieces glued together. I mean, the main body of the gun, the scope, the stock, the magazine, all glued together. The light on the end of the barrel there. I mean, everything. And then I painted the whole thing with all the details that you see on it. And then the face is actually inspired by my Charles Xavier from X-Men Days of Future Past. That's what this face is inspired by, because I used a head from a Lone Ranger set for that minifigure, and I knew that would be the perfect design to carry over onto Rick Flagg. And so it's not the exact same design from the Lone Ranger set that I can't remember the name of, but it is definitely inspired by it. And then he's got a painted Widow's Peak hairpiece, and I honestly am really happy with the way Rick Flagg turned out. While he may not be the most exciting figure in this showcase, he definitely does the job, and I'm pretty proud of it. And finally, our last figure in the Suicide Squad showcase, Tatsu Yamashiro Katana. This figure was the last one I made, and almost made it so that this showcase was gonna be late if I didn't finish her yesterday. So yeah, but this figure, man, holy crap, where to start? All the different designs. I guess we'll start with her face. The face, I have the entire mask painted, the entire, like the eyes, everything about the mask, all painted specifically to match the form of this Lego Friends hairpiece that this hairpiece originated from. And if you don't know Lego Friends hairpieces, they have holes in them, and so I had to fill those in and sculpt over those and then paint over that. But yeah, so that's pretty much the head in a nutshell. And then the torso is an area-like curve torso, which I failed to mention about Harley Quinn earlier. She also had one. So yeah, that's an area-like curved torso. And then I have the scars painted on her abdomen, on her chest, and then the one on her face that actually extends on her mask, which is actually a pretty cool detail in the movie. And then she has all these different Japanese like designs running throughout her entire outfit. I mean, you get the Japanese symbol on the front of her mask, on this like little like I honestly don't know what to refer to it as on the side of her arm, but it is there, and it is present on the minifigure with all of its dotted glory. And then her sword may look just like a standard painted sword with a layer of sealant over it, but it's actually in the movie called the Soul Taker, which is pretty cool. So there's that. She's also got a pair of tiny tactical glove tops, just like Rick Flagg, who she's protecting in the movie. And then she's got a knife painted onto the front of her belt there. And then also, if we go to the arm here, we've got a lot of Japanese text, not only on this arm, but then also on her leg. And you might notice that with her legs, I decided not to paint any detail in these areas, like on her upper thighs, because her pants in the movie are very skin tight. So I didn't really think there were any wrinkles or anything of the sort that needed to be painted on there. Then she's also got the dark red boots with a ton of laces painted on. That was very tedious to do. And then if we go ahead and move on to the back, you'll notice she's got the NBC logo on the back. Not really, but it does look like it. And you also have some more Japanese text that kind of gets cut off like it does on a real costume. You have the elbow pads painted on there as well, along with a bunch of chopped up Cape Madness fabric that I glued to the back to represent the laces that she has coming down from the back of her jacket. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much it for all the minifigures in the Suicide Squad showcase. Thank you so much for sticking around for the entire thing. It's been awesome finally getting to show these to you guys. And finally, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. I don't know how many times I said finally right there, but yeah.
We're going to the big swirling ring of trash in the sky. Shit. This is over. You're all going back to Bel Rev. Abort! Damn it, why did it... Oh my god, how did that happen? They just exploded!
Alright guys, and there you go. That's it for the main Suicide Squad showcase. It's been so awesome to finally be able to make Task Force X after waiting like a year since last year's Comic-Con, like when they revealed all the costumes, and this has definitely been a long time in the making in terms of the hype train and what these minifigures would one day look like. So yeah, it's been pretty great, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this showcase, seeing them all together and finished. And if you did, be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like below, and or your opinion on any of these minifigures down in the comments, or maybe even if you found yourself inspired to make your own minifigures from the movie. And I really hope you did, because these are not for sale. And as much as I wish they were, as much as I probably should have mentioned that in the start of the video, I'm mentioning it now. And yeah, sadly, I'm only one person. I say this a lot when I do mention this. I only have two hands, and as much as I wish I could sell them, these took pretty much everything I had for the past month. And while these may not have been as detailed as the Civil War minifigures that I also did in 1 month back in April, These are like honestly a hell of a lot more detailed and therefore require just the same amount of time. So this is more of my hobby that I share with you guys, and I really need to clarify that more than I already do, to be honest with you. But you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, by the way. Links to all three of those are always down in the description below as well. And seriously, I don't just say it for nothing. You will see every single one of my minifigures over there before you see it on here. And this is one of the rare exceptions because I was working so heavily and like so frequently on these minifigures these past couple weeks to make sure they'd be ready for tonight's release, I didn't really post any preview photos, and it really sucked because I really wanted to, but I didn't have time. So this happens to be one of the rare instances where I did end up posting them here first. So usually doesn't happen though, and that's why you should totally check that stuff out. Some super cool photos of upcoming minifigures and upcoming projects, such as a few of the X-Men Apocalypse minifigures that I will still be making after this, and then, like I said at the start of the video, a potential Amanda Waller and a Enchantress showcase, and then after that will be Doctor Strange in November. Can't wait to do that. But before all of that, I am actually at Brick Fair, Virginia 2016 at the time of this video going up, getting ready to go see the movie with like 30 people at Tyson's Corner Mall in Virginia, and it's going to be super cool. We're heading to the 6 p.m. showtime in case you guys are actually at Brick Fair with me and, you know, plan on seeing it too. But yeah, it's going to be super cool having that many people from the LEGO community that I know all in one IMAX theater to see Suicide Squad. It's going to be super cool. Cannot wait. And that is tonight, but at the time of me recording this, it's still a few days away. So yeah, guys, I think that is it though for the main Suicide Squad showcase. It's so awesome to finally plant this flag in 2016 and move on. So yeah, can't wait for the movie. This is going to be great, guys, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. All right. Bye. All right, let's go get this done. Actually, you know what? You're probably just gonna die anyway. Captain Boomerang, Katana, the Joker, Captain Boomerang, played by Jai Courtney. You don't need to know that. Holy shit. That's probably, I shouldn't say that in like the first 3 minutes of the video. Release of Suicide Squad. Son of a bitch! I managed to pull it off. I made all of these figures in 1 month.
But hey, wait. Where's Slipknot, Enchantress, and Amanda Waller?
Aside from the fact that I decided...
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
Don't irritate or vex me. That's it for the main Suicide